Well, folks, as you can see, there's a lot of green that grew back. Maybe not in this area right here, but it's getting there. I don't know if you can see the little garden areas that I made. They have grass growing in them from the hay, which I will cover coming this winter to kill off any weeds or anything that I don't want there to create biomass. And then I will go ahead and dump more wood chips on top of that, let it sit and age, and then use it in the spring. So I have 3 over there. I was able to do in one day, but I have been so busy, guys, trying to keep up. It's been raining, and I'm not going to complain because it's a lot better than the drought. And as you can tell over here, there's more pasture, like grass, where the goats had been previously in the winter, grazing over there, browsing actually the weeds and stuff. And then also because they eat the hay, and we get really good quality hay that minus grazo. Make sure you don't get hay that has grazo in it, or you'll not be able to grow anything if you use it. So wherever they dropped their little pellets, grass started growing, bringing back more of a pasture area. And as you can tell right here, there's a lot of weeds, dog fennel, a lot of pokeweed. It looks like little shrubs and trees around here, but I kept those because of the deep tap roots. It gets the minerals from where most plants can't really get minerals from, and brings it up. So it's good for the microorganisms that are in the soil. So this area is doing great. It was just really a lot of blackberries, briars, things like dog fennel and ragweed that I didn't really want, although the ragweed seems to be attracting ladybugs, which I do want. And like I said, I have a video where I found a bloated engorged tick on one of my dog's ears. That's the first tick I've seen out here, and I worked out here every day for 10 hours a day picking up these sticks, piles and piles of wood, and never once saw a tick. So upside, ragweed, I had a lot of it here. It actually attracted the ladybugs. I'm keeping it low because I don't want it to go to seed. I don't want that much of it. It gets really woody and stemmy and hard to pull. And then there's another plant that I'm not too familiar with that's plentiful. It resembles pokeweed, but it's got the serrated edges, really tiny serrated edges. It grows a lot around pokeweed. But anyway, it leaves like tough stems like this right here. See? And if it gets too big, you're going to have problems. It's not going to be pleasant cleaning it. So the goats, their pen extended down through there for the 4th change that I made onto this area. They were up here first, and you can see grass there. This is a mulched area, which was heavily mulched, which I like. That's where the future greenhouse is going. We cleaned up most of that area. There's a bamboo trellis that's shaped like it's got chambers in it, 2 chambers actually, that we're trying out. It's kind of got a peaked roof, and that's where the gourds are going to be finishing this year out on, so it's easier to pick them. Now those took off in an area that we weren't planning on using until next spring. A lot of this area that we're covering slowly but surely, in between maintenance is priority, because I don't want predators coming in on our birds and our animals. So I'm trying to keep the wide open space look so it deters them from crossing over. And in order to do that, I have to keep maintenance up. Well, with the rain, like it's been raining, it's great for the soil. Some of the things that we planted did die. A lot of it we overplanted, but we're getting good. Gourd is always a good bet. It's the bottle gourd, known as calabash, aka Doodhi, Doodhi, is exceptionally good for your health. It's got so many nutrients in it and antioxidants in it. I'd have to do a whole video just in that. But like I said, right over here was full of briars. Look at this now. This right here, right before the fence, the neighbor's fence. Now they've been working on that area. I can't wait to see what that turns out like next year. There's a lot of stumps in these areas, these little piles and stuff. A lot of big, gigantic stumps. But anyway, our willow probably won't make it. And here's Silver. He's been trying to get my attention. Let me give him a petting. Hey, Silver. Silver. Hey, Silver, meow. Meow. Yeah, I love petting my animals. What is it? What is it? Oh, I love you too. Well, today we have 2 does being sold to a family that just moved to our area. Well, across the border. We live on the border of South Carolina and Georgia, but they live just across the border in Georgia State, and they're deciding to start with goats to clear out some of their property. They have 30 acres. And we've got 2 does going over there. One of the bucks that we had over here that we sold to another family that we met and had great fellowship with was going to breed him, but decided that they were done with goats. And so they ended up selling him to this family, and they also recommended us for the does for breeding. They're not going to breed them for that purpose of selling them. They're going to breed them just to experience having baby goats once, I think, and then they're going to use them, split them up to clear out their property to have a little herd. And they've been very diligent in how they're wanting to fence in things, more diligent than we possibly could have been with the resources that we were limited on. So I'm very glad to see them go to a place where they're going to be familiar with the buck. They're able to breed if they want to. It's not going to be inbreeding. So this Ginger and Dolly, you might have seen a video of them being born, where we had to do a emergency shelter. Now these guys, this rooster right here, and where's the hen? I don't see her with you. He's an extremely good rooster. Now our bantam is showing some damage from where we had just gotten rid of a total of 19. Was it 19? Yeah, I believe it was 19. It could have been 19 roosters. And they were tearing our hens up, because out of the 30 that we had gotten, only 4 were hens. And we had sold 4 early on, so we had actually about 26 roosters. 26 roosters from one batch of chickens that was given to us. I kept the turkin. He's over here. And we are going to have to do something other than this tarp. This tarp has some wear on the top. I noticed it was getting wet inside where these hatchlings. I hatched 20 eggs out of 42. The humidity, I was dry hatching, and we had a huge thunderstorm. Humidity went up to, on the day of the lockdowns happened, the humidity per day was 93, if you can believe that. And I had already had a few hatch, but then I was worried that, and this was my first time, so I should have just kept them locked down, but I was worried that the other ones, the ones that were hatched would be hurt by that high humidity. And I thought the humidity was high enough to where if I opened the incubator that it wouldn't really affect the eggs that much. But I was wrong, because anytime there was a huge change in humidity, it sucks the membrane around the chick inside the egg, especially if they already started zipping. From what I understand, like I said, it was my first time. I'm just putting things together, and it will keep them from coming out. So, well, there's our turkeys. I have to fix this tunnel. I used Velcro thinking, I've come up with a solution. But I'm going to cut the excess flapping off, because the goats like to rub inside of here. So they've made it come loose. This was made to be temporary, so we can move it whenever we wanted to by removing the wiring on the grids and just removing the